This is The Scoop for Thursday.
I'm Megan Bowman with the WMNF News headlines. The U.S. is divided when it comes to state and federal marijuana policy, but recent political developments could move the country toward greater acceptance of cannabis. Both major presidential candidates have signaled support for a proposed federal policy change that would reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. Public approval of marijuana has grown significantly, and so has the number of states where it's legally sold in stores. Several additional states will decide this fall whether to join 24 states and Washington, D.C. in legalizing the drug for recreation. A total of 38 states now allow medical use of marijuana. Meanwhile, the Florida Young Republicans face pressure after going against Tallahassee by throwing their support behind Amendment 3, which would legalize marijuana in Florida. Jake Hoffman is the executive director of the Tampa Bay chapter.
There are people very high up in Tallahassee that are not happy about this, that these young Republicans just come out and they do something wild like this and they come against the GOP, and this is something that they're going to try to reverse. But at the end of the day, you can't really reverse the fact that 2/3 of the organization of thousands of people want to do this.
Hoffman says the Tampa chapter got over 60% support in a straw poll of members months ago about the pot referendum. However, most members of the group hold entry-level positions within the GOP and in different offices in Tallahassee.
They feel pressure, like anybody else at their job. If an organization like this happens, and if they're told, you guys really need to reverse course on this, they get worried.
Hoffman says the young Republican support of Amendment 3 is evidence of the generational gap within the party. The American Civil Liberties Union says it plans to file a lawsuit after state officials published a website in opposition to Amendment 4, the abortion access proposal that will be on the ballot this November. WFSU's Regan McCarthy reports the ACLU calls the site a misuse of taxpayer dollars.
The website was published by the state's Agency for Healthcare Administration. The site says the proposed state constitutional amendment, quote, threatens women's safety. But amendment supporters say it's Florida's current 6-week abortion limit that's putting women in danger. Lauren Brinzel is the group's campaign director.
Doctors are afraid right now of going to prison, and they are unable to provide the best medical care possible because of these unworkable so-called exceptions in Florida's abortion ban.
Florida's current law includes an exception to protect the life of the pregnant person, but doctors say it's unclear how sick a person needs to be before that exception can apply. I'm Regan McCarthy.
The Florida Supreme Court has agreed to take up and expedite a hearing in a case filed by Adam Richardson, a lawyer from West Palm Beach, in a case separate from the ACLU's. Richardson argues Governor Ron DeSantis and other members of his administration are misusing their offices and interfering with the upcoming vote for Amendment 4. He points to the Agency for Healthcare Administration website as one example. Meanwhile, the number of abortions in Florida dropped after the state's ban on them after the 6th week of pregnancy took effect in May. A Guttmacher Institute study released today estimates that the decline wasn't as sharp in the state as it was in others with such bans, though it is still meant that there have been more than 2,000 fewer abortions each month. The less steep drop could be because of the availability of abortion pills from out-of-state providers and the preparations of Florida clinics and abortion funds. Abortion bans across the U.S. since the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade in 2022 have changed the way they are provided, but many women are still finding ways to end their pregnancies. Several Tampa residents gathered at a Hillsborough County library to discuss Tampa Electric's proposed rate increases. WMNF's Chris Young tells us about 80 people shared the impacts of electric bills they say are already too high.
Community members shared their frustrations with TECO at a workshop hosted by the Hillsborough Affordable Energy Coalition. Community members like Melvin Wright, who's been in Tampa for 60 years.
I mean, if they're going to raise the rates, they're not raising our income at all. So that's going to be a hit on our income, and we're retirees. So that's going to be like a double hit on us.
Your high today is 91 and lows are around 77. I'm Megan Bowman with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.